This slide presents the overview of the chapter.
Learning objectives. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to
Understand the need of science. Differentiate between individual and societal perspective. Understand science and change. Explain the scientific methods. Identify the steps in planning and investigation. Discuss the types of measurements used in science. Understand the safety rules to be followed while doing an investigation. Introduction. Before entering into the chapter, follow the instructions shown on the screen. Click each tab to know more. In lower classes, we learned that it is the human brain which has made great inventions such as computers, mobile phones, internet, space shuttles, robotics, hybrid food grains, medicines, etc. This is because scientists look at nature in a different way. Do you know about science and the changes it underwent? How scientists work? How to plan an experiment? What measurements are used to interpret the data? What are the safety rules to be followed in a scientific lab? Let us try to answer these questions and learn more about scientific study. Science makes us understand the world better with backup of research and various experiments done by scientists. Experimentation is a natural process conducted under controlled conditions to find the unknown truths in nature. Questioning is the first step in finding new things. This made us to know about science in different fields. Ecologists observe the terrestrial behavior of bluebirds, whereas geologists tell us about fossils and minerals in Earth's crust. An astrophysicist enables us to see the photographs of distant galaxies. Chemists recorded the reactions of matter at different temperatures, and nuclear physicists made a note of angular momentum of particles in a circular path. Different biologists experimented on the behavior of a particular tissue in various stimulants. Now, let us learn about the need of science. Science is a type of knowledge accumulation to test new ideas. These inventions help people to know the developments in their lives. The need of science varies from individual perspective to societal perspective. Individual perspective. Science is a way of building knowledge about the world and constructing new ideas that illuminate the world around us. Scientists are the ones who discovered the new species of dinosaur or a new model in which atoms bond. New discoveries which enable us to think about nature. They find interest in the discovery of some unknown facts which overturn the accepted ideas. Now, let us look into societal perspective. Science has great impact on every individual as it improves people's lives. Let us observe some examples. Geneticists are discovering new things to understand how certain conditions are passed from one generation to another generation. Biologists are seeking the information about the transmitted diseases in order to improve the lives of ordinary people. Earth scientists are developing better models to predict the weather, earthquakes, landslides, volcanic eruptions, etc. On the other hand, the domain of answers lie in the society's desire for economic development. Let us observe some examples. Many earth scientists find more effective ways to discover or to recover the natural resources like coal or petroleum and ores. Botanists are working to improve the agricultural output that enrich the nations nutritionally. Physicists started developing new phenomena like superconductivity and other similar phenomena which help in economic development. Chemists started developing new chemical substances with potential technological applications. Hence, the societies support science by providing resources to them as the scientific inventions are used for the economic development of the nation. Science and change. Science undergoes constant changes in discoveries which make a better understanding of nature. Advances in existing discoveries happen only when it is regularly questioned. Karl Popper says, science is a history of corrected mistakes. For example, Albert Einstein every year retracts what was written in the previous year. Many scientists would like to go back to their past by centuries to know the ideas developed during that time. Scientists observe nature in a different way, and this led to great innovations. The way they follow the nature is termed as scientific method. Now, let us observe how they follow the scientific methods. Scientific methods. The processed work processed by scientists in their discoveries is called scientific method. This includes planning and investigation, science process skills, reading to learn, writing to communicate, measuring. Planning and investigation. Before starting research, they gather information, plan, conduct a study, organize, and present their study. Planning and investigation includes 5 steps. Let us study about them. Following are the 5 steps to be followed for planning an investigation. Ask questions, form a hypothesis, plan an experiment, conduct the experiment, result and conclusion. Click each tab to know more. Ask questions. Observe the required material carefully. Note down one question which you want to know. Prepare notes about that question. Sort out what is the additional information required. Need to do research on the topic. Which soil suits best for planting bean seeds? Need to study about different types of soils. Form a hypothesis. Try to make a hypothesis or suitable answer to your question. Hypothesis is the possible answer that can be tested. Summarize your hypothesis in a complete sentence. According to my hypothesis, bean seeds sprout well in potting soils. Plan an experiment. Write down the variables or factors required. Also make a list of equipments. Make necessary arrangements to record the data. I will sow same type of seeds in 3 different kinds of soil: sandy, clayey, potting soils. These are kept under same climatic conditions. Conduct the experiment. Observe the growth of seeds at regular intervals. Record the data in a table so that you can make a clear study. To check the growth of these seeds, I will note their height for every 3 days and make a bar graph finally after 21 days. Result and conclusion. Analyze the data collected and represent in terms of graphs. Make a note of conclusion determining the factors responsible. Check if your hypothesis is correct or not. Now I got it. My hypothesis is not true. Seeds have sprouted in 2 soils, but there is no sprout in the clay soil. Science process skills. Whenever scientists are trying to find answers for a question or an experiment, they use thinking tools called process skills. We also use these process skills when we speak, listen, read, write, and think. Following are the examples to know about the use of science process skills. Example 1. Investigation on seashells by Arun. Example 2. Investigation on measurements by Priyanka. Example 3. Investigation on use of a model by Suhas. Example 4. Investigation on use of a model by Swati. Click each tab to know more. Example 1. Investigation on seashells by Arun. Arun visits a beach out of his interest. He likes to collect some seashells which look alike and also of different sizes and shape. Use of process skills. He observes the shells that are collected and compares their size, shape, and color. Then he classifies them into groups according to their shapes. Process skills. Observe. Use the senses to learn about objects and events. Compare. Recognize the characteristics of things or events to find out how they appear, same or different. Classify. Group or arrange objects or events in categories based on specific characteristics. Example 2. Investigation on measurements by Priyanka. Priyanka has a doubt that how would a rock undergoes changes in its shape and size. She plans an experiment to find out whether rubbing the sand against a rock will cause the rock to change its size and shape. Use of process skills. Priyanka collects 4 rocks and measures their masses. She takes a jar and places the 4 rocks in a jar along with sand and water. Then she records the weight of the rocks for a week, every day by shaking them. Based on the analysis of the data, she concluded that rocks break when sand is rubbed against them. Hence, there is a change in the initial weight. Process skills. Measure. Compare and attribute an object such as length or capacity to a unit of measure such as gram, centimeter, or liter. Gather, record, display, and interpret data. Gather data by making observations that will be useful for inferences or predictions. Record data by writing down the observations in a table, graph, or notebook. Display data by making tables, charts, or graphs. Interpret data by drawing conclusions about what the data shows. Example 3. Investigation on use of a model by Suhas. Suhas has a doubt that how a light switch works in his bedroom. To verify this, he uses the required materials like batteries, a bulb holder, thumbtacks and a paper clip. Use of process skills. He uses a model consisting of switch and wires. He connects the bulb, wires and batteries to make the bulb glow. He infers that switch interrupts the flow of electricity and turns on the light. Hence, Suhas' model proves his prediction and inference. Process skills. Use of a model. Make a representation to help you understand an idea, an object, or an event such as how something works. Predict. Form an idea of an expected outcome based on observations or experience. Infer.